How's everybody doing today? I want to thank everybody for joining me today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's your host with the most. It is your friend, the Joe. All right, everybody. So, like it should have said in the description, big news, big news. Let me turn off this music, guys. Sick of getting copyright strikes anyways. So let me turn that off. All right, guys. So what it kind of said in the description, that finally, there's been an update to the to Cisco Modeling Lab. So I know you, if you guys have been catching my last couple of streams, especially the chapter 6 CNA study stream, you guys saw how many issues I was running into with using Cisco Modeling Lab to demonstrate, a simply SSH configuration and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, that's not the only issues I have found. There's been, turn on my lights. Keep forgetting to do that. Turn these lights on. Yeah, so like I was saying, guys, you guys have seen the just the amount of issues I've been having with it, and I've noticed, I've talked to the people in the community at Cisco Modeling Lab and whatnot, and they've where's blue? Should I go with green or should I go with red? What brings out the beautiful color of my face, guys? Is it yellow today, or is it that kind of blue? You guys tell me. Beautiful. All right. Yeah. So, so the community that surrounds the Cisco Modeling Lab team there, they're super awesome. They're on it, man. They try to get everybody the information that everybody needs when they run into issues with it. So I was never afraid. I was never in doubt that they were not going to get around to doing something about it, to fixing it and whatnot. But I didn't notice though, and it had passed me by, I guess because of Thanksgiving and whatnot came around, and it's just been a busy month for me, with everything else. But as of the 24th of November, they end up dropping an updated version of it. It's not a updated. They didn't do anything. It's going to look exactly the same as 2.1. All right, but they've had to go in it and then refix a lot of the bugs and everything else, because not just the SSH was wrong with it, guys. I ran into things where the command line would, I would be up here doing stuff on the command line and it would go beep, bye bye, and it would just disappear into nowhere's land on the screen and whatnot, and I couldn't get it back. So there's been plenty of issues, and that's probably not only the ones. There's thousands of other people that using the program. They've probably noticed different issues and whatnot. So it looks like they had to go inside and really redo, fix some of the stuff. It's not a patch or anything like that. It's an updated version, but it's going to have the same functionality, same look. So it doesn't look any different. It's not going to function any different. It's just going to be working better. So what I thought would be nice, because again, I was just curious, because I wanted to just do some blabbing today on the stream and whatnot, because I know yesterday I did some video gaming. That was pretty fun. I played what was it? I think I played Rage 2 yesterday during the stream, and then I went back later on that night and I played some more Rage 2. All my video game friends, they wanted me to download what is it? Call of Duty Warzone. I tried and I did download it, but Blizzard said, "We don't like your phone number, Joe, so you cannot play." So that was an epic fail on, I guess not on my part, but on their part. whatevs, no big deal. There's plenty of other games um, for us to play. But that would have been fun. That would have been fun just to jump on the COD. I was a big CODer back in the day. I love the Call of Duties. Um, but yeah. Maybe later on we'll play some more games and whatnot. But what we're gonna do today, what today's stream is gonna be primarily about is let me see how everything's looking up real quick on everything real fast, guys. So what today's primary goal is, I have EX6I up. I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through the steps of how to boot up a new image of Cisco Modeling Lab. All right, for those who have either struggled doing it or haven't done it before, this might be good for those who are kind of new to this stuff too, to watch and see. I already went ahead and deregistered my other copy and deleted all those labs, emptied it all out to regain some of that storage space on my server, so that way when we boot up this, it's not going to take, because it takes a little bit because I got to install all the images into this. I gotta download all of the images all to my server before we can even boot it all up. You know what I'm saying? And that took up more room, obviously, and I had to. What I did though is I went inside the older version I have, the 2.1 version of Cisco Modeling Lab, deleted everything, cleared it all out, deregistered it, cleared out all those images off my server to regain all that space back, uploaded the new images, but I haven't booted it up yet or nothing like that. And that's what we're gonna go through today. So I got EX6I already up and running. It's been running for a little bit now. And yeah, so we're gonna go through the steps of booting up a new image, and then we're gonna get into a lab. We're gonna build a DHCP lab today. For a couple of reasons. One, primarily, I got a DHCP. I got a DNS DHCP class coming up on Friday of this week, and I was gonna use the one that I had already up on Cisco Modeling Lab as my lab. But now that I've seen that this has dropped, I'm curious. I want to get into it, and I want to see if this solves a lot of the issues that I was already having. And I'm gonna be so happy if going forward, this is going forward that if they really weeded out a lot of the bugs and stuff, that going forward we won't have so many issues as we're completing our studies into the CCNA 200-301 exam cert guide. So yeah, so super pumped up, guys. I hope you guys are pumped up. Hope you guys have your learning caps. I got me some fresh coffee here. Let's get it poured out. Ooh, dope coffee. Yum, 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 yum. I love that part. I don't know why. Nice and hot. Ooh, I can't get enough of it, actually. Hold on. That's good coffee. Isn't that deep fresh? All right. Let's guess there's no better time than now. Let's get into it, guys. Where's me mouse? Where's me mouse? Where's me mouse? Where's me mouse? Hey man, where's my mouse? There's my mouse. All right, we're looking good. Everything sounds good. Let's get over to the server. All right. So here we're at. Obviously, if you guys should be probably used to seeing this right by now on my stream. This is my EX6I server right here. This is where I launch all my VMs from. This is where I create all my VMs from. it's a awesome program. For those out there who have experience using Proxmox, this is very similar to Proxmox. This is VMware's other, this is VMware's version, not version, but this is VMware's, I guess, same thing as what Proxmox is. Proxmox is open source. VMware obviously isn't. There's a cost behind VMware, but nonetheless, this is a software. This is a Type 1 hypervisor for those who are curious. And then, I guess, yeah, for those who haven't really been on my streams too often, though this is a layer 1 hypervisor, I am using this I'm hosting this though off of VMware Workstation Pro, which is a layer 2. All right, I'm doing it as I have my whole setup as a nested virtualization machine. That's how I set up my whole PC to be able to be nested virtualization. So I have obviously my main host, which is my Windows 10 operating system. Then I have on top of Windows 10, I have VMware Workstation Pro, okay, as my layer 2. And then on top of that, I have EXXi, all right, that's my layer 1 hypervisor, all right. And then from there, then I boot up all my other operating systems and whatnot from there, all right. So you guys can see, I got a couple of VMs already. I got an Ubuntu desktop right here. I got, even though it says Cisco Packet Tracer, I just named it Cisco Packet Tracer, but this is a Windows 10 operating. This is another Windows 10 operating system. This is a OVF though. It's not an ISO, or it's not a, how do I say this so I don't confuse it? It's not a, like, you can't just install this type of image right to your PC. You still have to go, this is a virtualized image that Microsoft offers to folks as a educational thing, and it's great. I love it. I've been learning a lot of, it gives me the opportunity to mess around with this version of Windows so I don't break my host, because honestly at this point I don't really like to do much off of my host besides play video games at this point now, just because I don't want to break anything on my host, because I value it so much, because it does so, it does every, without that I wouldn't have all these other things working properly like the way I do. So using this gives me the opportunity to test things out, testing software and whatnot. So I have Cisco Packet Tracer hosting on it, just because, again, I've had issues before with Cisco Packet Tracers. Has actually crashed my host computer, and I don't like that. I don't like when anything crashes my host computer. So it can crash this VM all at once. I don't care. Let it do it. And then I have my GNS3 VM right here, and this is just a GNS3 VM. And I honestly think that the VM version of GNS3 works perfectly fine. I love it. I haven't had any issues with it. It does exactly what I want it to do. I used to have it local. Again, I used to have it local on my host, where, if you're familiar with GNS3, you would have it, well, at least, yeah. So there's two ways you can do GNS3. You can have it local on your host, that you have the VM hosted off of like VirtualBox or VMware or whatever, and then it has to then talk to the local program, and then that's how you can run like the Cisco iOS router, the virtualized routers and stuff like that through the VM. All right. But I don't like things really. I've been trying to get away from having things on my local host, and I prefer to have them now virtualized on their own VMs. Just the way I like to do it, guys. So that's what this is, and again, it works. Ooh, excuse me. It works great. Again, this is like, how do I say it? So how I'm kind of like breaking things up in their own instances and their own virtual machines is how things just products and software most software and products and like that are going to be slowly turning into that kind of stuff where you're going to be just opening up a web browser, and then logging into, you know, whatever software you want to use on your host computer, but that software is going to be running off of an instance, another VM in the cloud somewhere, you know, who knows where. You never know. You know what I'm saying? When you go through things on the cloud, they're hardware somewhere. They're somewhere, but you know, they, if that instance were to crash, you won't even know it. That instance will get pretty much motioned onto another server within an instance, and then that instance will come back up, and then you'll still have your service, whatever the service may be. So that's kind of the idea of where I'm trying to go through with all my, at least with some of the products that I've been using, the gaming and stuff like that. Though there really isn't a way to. I mean, I can, and I probably will dabble in that soon, but you ain't gonna get the really kind of quality output that you're gonna get just having it running off your host, just because of the need of the graphics card and whatnot. Because video games are so heavily dependent on your graphics card and whatnot. It would be, again, it wouldn't be impossible, but it just might not run as good as it will on your host, on your bare metal host. You know what I'm saying? You know, that those capabilities and whatnot they'll come in time. But as it stands right now, you know, these are the steps I'm taking in my virtualization world. All right. Enough of that. So let's get into it. We got some stuff we got to do. We got to create a new VM. I'm going to create it off of, so we have create a new virtual machine. We have deploy a virtual machine off of an OVF or an OVA file, register an existing machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to deploy a virtual machine off of an OVF file. All right. You can download the bare metal image for Cisco, for the new, even the new 2.1.1 version. They have the bare metal ISO image there, but I'm just going to deploy it as an OVF. The OVF works fine. It worked fine in the other one, but we also have the reference ISO file. That reference ISO file is what has all the other images in it. It's got the virtual router image, the cloud service router image, the virtual switch image, the Ubuntu images and stuff like that. All those images that are you need to have to be able to use Cisco Model Lab. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna deploy as a new deploy a virtual machine from an OVF file. Okay, we're gonna go next. All right, we're gonna call this Cisco. I would call it CML. CML 2.1.1. All right, now we're gonna come over here to my host, and I got it right here on my host PC. Okay, I'm gonna drag it over here. Okay, very good. This is, again, this was the newest version as of the 24th of November. So click on next. Yep, and then this is just saying this is the data store. This is my storage bank that I have on my server. So I'm gonna say yes. All right. Yep, we're gonna just have it on the network. We're gonna have it thin provisioning. All right, and power on automatically. Cool. Yep, looks good. Actually, let's go back one. Let's not power it on automatically, because I gotta. Let's take that back. I'm not gonna have it powered on automatically because we need to go back into it and then add some stuff to it. All right. Go to next. All right. And then we'll finish. All right. So again, I didn't want it to power on because if I had select that, it would have powered on, and it wouldn't have really hurt it much. But there's a couple, we have to add some stuff to it. And we got to go into the actual edit file. All right, so we're gonna go into the edit file. I'm gonna add some more stuff to it. I'm gonna give this thing 6 CPUs. I'm gonna give it 16 gigs, and I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give it 40 gigs of space. 40 gigs should be enough. We'll get 50. And you know what? I'm gonna give this one 60. 50. 50. 50 is enough. And then we're gonna come down here. Gotta find this. And then we gotta connect power on. All right. So we got six CPUs. We gave it 16 gigs of RAM. We gave it 50 gigs of hardware. That's fine. That's fine. That should be. And let me just make sure that compatible. Yep, okay. Okay. Then once we power it on, we're gonna install the 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 VM tools there. That way, when we power it on and off, it speaks to the operating system and it does it. All right. So now that's all. That should be it. All right. Now that that's all done, now we can go ahead and power it on. All right. Take a second, guys. Let that do its thing. How's everybody doing? Pretty good? I hope so. All right. We're going to accept it. Welcome to Cisco Modeling Lab. Yep. Okay. Yep. All right. Let me make a password real quick. Let me just make all these passwords real quick, guys. Don't mean to block you guys out. I just need to make sure I'm doing this all right. And I'll get confused later. All right. Come back over to you guys now. We're going to select DHCP. Continue. Confirm. Let it do its own automatic reboot right now. Boom, baby. All right, so we got an IP address now. Close this out. It's 192.168.1209. Open up a new browser here. Two, 8.1.2. All right. Boot it up. Okay. Tools now. We're gonna go to licensing. This is where we need to register it. All right. So once you get here, guys, this is where you're gonna need your registration key. You get that once you purchase your copy. Once you purchase your copy of CML 2.1 or whatever, you're gonna get a key, a registration key, and this is where so we go back to the dashboard. This is the reason why this is saying this is because we need to get it registered. So gotta go here, gotta go to licenses, okay, and then we're gonna do the registration. So let me just I just gotta grab my registration key, guys, real quick. Register it now. All right. Go back. All right. Now you can see down in the corner, the status is okay now. So now that we've registered it, we have full access to everything that you can do in Cisco Model Lab. Okay. Now, for FYI purposes, if you are needing to, if you do need to say if you had the other copy, all right, of CML 2.1 or 2.0, whatever the case is, remember to deregister that instance before you delete it. Deregister it, okay? And it's the same place. You go back to tools, you go back to licenses, okay? You go here, and then that's where you click on the deregister button and you deregister that actual instance, okay? Now, if you forgot to do all that and everything else, don't worry about it, all right? The people over at Cisco, they made it easy. You just go to their, if you go to where the community help source page is for Cisco Model Lab, it'll direct you towards that if you have that issue, because that was an issue in the beginning with a lot of people that forgot to deregister when they maybe destroyed an instance or whatnot. I had that one time where I broke an instance of Cisco Model Lab, and then I was like sweating bullets because I'm like, oh no, how am I gonna, I can't get into it to deregister because it's completely broken. And so they made an actual portal where you can just you just click on a button, as long as you sign in with all your your account permissions and whatnot, you can just go inside now and unregister it from their web portal. All right, making it a lot easier. So let's turn this into dark mode. I love the dark mode. All right, so that's as simple as booting up a VM as you can get. And here we go. As you can tell, we have all of our images. Now these images, again, these were supplied by that reference ISO file. Okay, that it had all of this in it. Okay, and that's why it's important that you attach that file to that VM, because if not, you're not going to have any of these. Okay, you'd be like, "Oh, it's Cisco Modernizer, but there's nothing in it." Joe, what happened? You need to attach that file to that OVF file when you're booting up the VM. All right, if not, then you won't see anything here, anything at all. So, what's yeah, we're gonna build now. It's lab time, lab time. I hope they fix this all because I really want this to work. All right, so we're gonna grab that. And I'm gonna grab you. And all right, so let me think about how we want to do this lab. I want to set up a DHCP server type lab with separate VMs. Okay. That's gonna be my main one. And that's for them. And I'm just trying to think real quick, guys. So yes, okay. The external connection, and this would be my DHCP server. Then a couple PCs. Just getting the building blocks out real quick, guys, and making sure I get everything. Yeah, that's cool. At least that this will get us started in this lab. So, all right, let's get started. Let's start naming stuff. Usually the best way to start. Internet connection. Yeah, we're just gonna call it internet. Cool. Internet. And you are going to be Rhoda. You're gonna be named Server Switch. DHCP server. DHCP server. And you're gonna be VLAN switch. You're gonna be VLAN 10. You're going to be VLAN 20. All right. Right. use sales 1. Use sales 2. Production 1. And production 2. Okay. All right. So we're gonna have an internet. So this is gonna be our big world internet right here. Okay. This is just gonna be our router. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with router just to keep the naming simple. All right. This is gonna be our server switch. So this is gonna be an unmanned switch. Just because I'm not gonna need it to do any. I'm not going to need to break off any VLANs or anything like that, and it's just going to save. It's going to save me on CPUs and RAM. All right, and then this is going to be our DHCP server. Okay, it's going to be an Ubuntu image that we're going to be using here. It's Ubuntu. I think it's Ubuntu 20.4, which is I believe is the newer, updated version of Ubuntu as it stands currently. Does it even tell us? I'm pretty sure it's Ubuntu 20.04. I'm pretty sure it is. All right. This is the iOS L2. The layer, it's going to be the virtual switch image. This is what we're actually going to break off VLANs from. So we're going to break VLANs off in this switch right here. These are going to be unmanaged switches just to again save on some of the resources. And then they're going to be, so the sales team is going to be on VLAN 1, the production team is going to be on VLAN 20 is going to be the production team, VLAN 10 is going to be the sales team, and that will be happening in this switch. This router though, this router is only going to be acting as a DHCP server for the actual DHCP server, but this DHCP server is going to be this whole bag of tricks, this whole this unit's DHCP server. So all the messages for DHCP server are going to be fed through to this DHCP server. The DHCP server is then going to allocate addresses from there. Okay. This was a lab I created a long time ago, but it's a good lab to practice setting this type of topology up. All right. Just because from most instances you'll have, you're going to have a DHCP server behind, a firewall or something like that, with access, delegating access points and stuff like that. So that's what this is mocking up pretty much. Even though, yes, I could have this router, be a DHCP server for everybody, la-di-da-di. I want this Linux machine because that's what this is, Linux machine, because this helps me get more practice with setting up DHCP servers on actual Linux machines and whatnot, and making sure I got the configurations right. That way, these are getting properly addressed in the proper VLAN, all right, on top of everything else. So we have to make sure we're sending the correct messages through everybody, and everybody has a way to connect to everybody as well. So communication can run pretty smooth. So first couple of things we are going to want to, so we get everything named. Actually, this thing, let me just fire up the router first before we make any connections. Let's just get the router, because the router is going to be the main the main thing. We're going to have to we got to set up not only DHCP for that DHCP server, but we got to set up NAT and PAT as well, because we're going to we actually have to be reaching out to the real internet to download the IC. Man, I forget the name, but we have to download the DHCP software for that Ubuntu image to be a DHCP server. So we need to get NAT and PAT set up on that router. Again, just more good practice. And then we have to do some we got to get into the sub configurations for the VLANs. That way the DHCP messages from the different VLANs can get to that DHCP server, because if not, they just won't flow through that, and then we have to add the IP helper command 2 as well to help the PCs and the VLANs get the actual addresses and whatnot. There's a little. There's actually a this is a very in-depth lab when it comes to all the different types of configurations we're going to have to do just to ensure that this DHCP server can allocate addresses off in 2 separate VLANs. Now remember, there's going to be 2 separate VLANs that it's going to be allocating to. You have sales over here that obviously going to be in VLAN 10, and then you get production over here that are going to be in VLAN 20, and that's going to be broken off on this switch here, which will have VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. We're going to use we'll use VLAN 1 just as like the management VLAN and stuff like that. We won't get too crazy with setting, with making a different type of management VLAN and whatnot. That'll come as we're continuing down the CCNA cert studies there and stuff like that. So for now, that's how it's going to be set up. And what we'll do is we'll write down the address ranges and whatnot too. That way you guys can follow along. And if you guys are going to be following me as we're doing this, I suggest booting up Packet Tracer now, and you can follow me in Packet Tracer, and I can talk to you guys through setting this up on Packet Tracer. Obviously, you can't connect to the real internet, but you guys will have the advantage over what I'm doing, because in Cisco Packet Tracer, it has the little servers in it that you can set up DHCP and whatnot. And then you can do this. You're going to be able to do the same exact setup as I'm doing here. It'll be taking me less time to do it in Cisco Packet Tracer than it's going to take me to do it in Cisco Model Lab. All right, let's get into the weeds. Let's get into the weeds. Also, a lot of this is going to be seeing if we're going to run into issues too. I'm curious to know if they fixed the SSH server on the router. So this would be a fun day, super fun day of blabbing it up with Joe. More coffee. Good. We got our first success. We got our router booted up. That's the first win of the day right there, guys. First win of the day, I'll tell you. All right. Ooh, it's got an SSH server on it. Oh boy. I'm already giddy. Oh boy. I'm already happy. Woo. All right. Let's continue. So let's think about addressing here for a second and how I want to get everything set up. So I'm going to, that's going to be, yep, 01. And excuse me, this will have on 02, that's fine. And then this would be, that's fine. So let's write some of this down now so you guys can follow me. So see it. Actually, a little bit small. It's too big. So the on the router, let's just so the router on gigabit 0-0 will have an IP address. Well, that's gonna actually be, we're gonna have to set up that DHCP. So that'd be, for now, it'd be equals IP DHCP, just for now, okay? All right. And then on its other port, we'll have gigabit 0-1's going there. So what is it doing? Oh, and on its gigabit 0-1, we'll have, we're gonna call that the, we would give that the IP address range of 172, actually, yeah, 172.16.0.0.0.1. And that would be in the 4 subnet mask range. Let's keep things simple, easy. And then on its gigabit 0-2, I might change that other one. We'll give that to 192.168. You just erase this one. Ooh, it erased everything. Yeah. This one, this one. There we go. So it's gigabit 0-1. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. And then this one right here will have the sub interfaces and whatnot. Should that be the range? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's good. It's good enough. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that? I'm happy with that. I'm happy. Okay, that's fine. All right, so let's get back here. All right, so the first interface we need to go into, interface gigabit 0, give it IP address, DHCP, shut, description, so that we're gonna say interface to internet. Good. That's it for now on that one. So let's exit. And now let's go into gigabit interface with 0-1. That one, because that's going to be our that's going to be what's allocating the DHCP services to that. Actually, I'm going to switch that around. I'm going to do it like this. Keep deleting everything. I don't want to delete everything. Come back. Gigabit 0-1. That will be the one. And then on the other one, sorry for this, guys. I just wanna, I know I have a certain preference on how I like to set things up, and I just want to make sure I do it. I want to make sure I'm doing it the way I want to do it. All right. And what interface we're in right now? All right. So we're gonna give this the IP address to let's say .0.1 5.15. 25.25.0. Okay. Actually, no. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And then gigabit interface, gigabit 0-2, IP address 10.0.0.1, 5.0. All right, and that sets that up. And also on this one. So now we're gonna move into interface. Interface gigabit 0-2.1. All right, this one. So where we set up the encapsulation. Got it. Encapsulation. Q. This the IP address 10.0.0.10.1. Zero. All right, got description sub int. Oh, you know what? I don't think I did the. On either of them. Okay, I gotta move back into this. Description. Yeah, so I didn't even turn that one on. All right, so let me give this a description. Interface to server on. Okay, interface. That's 2. Got description. Interface to host on. Right. Now let's move into interface gigabit 0-2.10. Oh wait, you know what? I messed up. Encapsulation Q IP address 10.0.10.1 shot description. You're gonna be interface int sub int b10. Okay, open to gigabit -2.20 encapsulation .1q20 address 10.20.1 0 got description VLAN 20. Okay. set up a DHCP pool for the server farms. That's it. Let me just write this real quick. DHCP pool. Network. 192.0. It's going to be default 1. Oh, I can't do that. You know why I can't do that? There's a couple of reasons why I can't. I didn't think about that. No, it's fine. We'll see. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll have to redo it. I'll just redo this one part. Actually. Yeah, it should. Heck, it's going to be performing that and that anyway, so that should be fine. All right. I do 1. And then lease, say infinite. That's it. DHCP. Exclude addresses 192.0 to 192.8. Okay. Good. Just write that real quick. That gets the DHCP server for the server farm. Now I got to make a access list. Real quick. Okay. Access list. Say 1. Right. Yeah, 0. Because we're gonna also, well, also yeah, that's fine. 0. Yeah, and then this is 0, 0 dot 0 dot. That should be fine. List, another one, 2, connect. 0, 0, be 0.0, 5, 5. And that should encompass that whole 10 network. Okay. IPNet inside. Source. List. Gigabit. That's all about 0.0 interface. Two now. Those two. Go to interface. Gigabit 0. 0-1. P inside. Do a couple trace backs real quick. Interface gigabit 0-2. P not inside as well. Alright. Interface gigabit 0-0. That's going to be IP outside. Alright. And that should, let's it right real quick. Then let's check the configuration on our router. I think that router is pretty much squared away. Grab some coffee real quick. If you guys are curious about the tracebacks, don't worry about them. That's what this happens on Cisco Model Nav. When you set up NAT on it on the router's interface. So, do show run. Let's check out our configuration, guys. And then once we check it out, we'll hook up the internet, and then we'll try to ping Google and whatnot to make sure that everything's working. What happened for a second? Like it froze on me. All right. It's just do that again. There's a DHCP. Yep. So there's our, that's gonna be dynamically allocated by the by my full router on my server. First interface looks good. That looks good. Then we have our sub interfaces here. One native, yeah. Right, so we have our sub interfaces configured. They look good. We have our two access lists here. Good. Access list 1, access list 2. Good. Let me just let's fire up our bridge, our NAT bridge here. That's what this is configured as. All right. Just curious. And then let's see. Let's just make sure we have make sure that's working. That's part of the most important puzzle. This is obviously the most important puzzle, but this is also an important puzzle. Piece of the puzzle too. All right, that's up. Let's get back to our router now. Should be getting getting an address allocated to its interface gigabit 0-0. There it goes right there. So we got an address 192.168. Ooh, we got to set up OSPF. Before I forget. So we got an address 192.168.25.56. All right, we got to go back in. We got to set up OSPF too. So that's router OSPF 1. 192.168.0. That's wildcard bits, right? Yeah. 0.0.5. 0. Zero. Ooh, we need to set up a loop back there. Get out of this. So that's OSPF. So interface loop back. 1 maybe IP address 1.1. Exit. Right. Almost forgot to set up OSPF. Almost got ahead of myself. Show. So our route tables look pretty good already. Let's ping. All right, cool. So, all right, we're good. We can ping Google. All right, let's set up. What should I do first? I guess let's do this. So that fires up. We'll fire up our server. We got to do an update on our server, so that's actually going to take a while. So I might as well we'll get the server up and running, and then we'll start setting up the switch with the VLANs and whatnot. Let's get the server up because we got to do we got to do an update. We got to do an update on the server. That's gonna take a little bit of time, and then it always does every time I do it. And then we gotta download the DHCP program, and then we gotta go into that, and then the DHCP config file, and then yeah, by the time that's all done, we'll have the switch, the multi-layer switch set up and ready to go by that time. In that time, I'm drink some more coffee. Let me let's get some more addresses up here. So qubit 0-2 equals 10.0.0.1. Qubit 2.10. 2.20 address. So the DHCP server on our router's working. Now let's make sure we can actually ping Google. All right, cool. So internet's working. Good. Now let's see if DNS is working. That's a problem. DNS is not working properly. DNS. I knew it, for some reason, I knew that was going to be a problem. So what did I name that? What did I name that? I called it server bomb. DNS is now working. Good. That's what I needed. So now we can do a sudo t 8. So that's going to take a minute. Then we have to install all the updates from there. That's fine. While that's doing its thing, let's get this switch fired up. We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. Just one hiccup. That was just how I addressed the DNS server that I wanted to use. So that's fine. I do that every once in a while. I forget which one to point it towards. So I don't want to point it towards Google, because I have before in the past, and it just feels like it takes forever. Well, I guess it would, because it has to go all the way to Google and all the way back just to freaking get friggin' the domain name service. Let me run to the bathroom real quick, guys, while everything's booting up real quick. I'll be right back. 2 seconds, guys. She's at. See how we're doing. Looks like good. All right. Upgrade. And then we'll download DHCP. Oh, look at that. Our switch came up. Switch. Okay, cool. Name. Switch. Oh, here. Yeah, I can name you switch. That's fine. I'm not gonna have any other switches in here. So host name switch, and we got a couple things we gotta do. We gotta set up some VLANs. So 10 sales. All right. 20 now. Name. Production. Interface. On now. I'm gonna say switch port. Oh, wow. Either one. Switch port. Oh my goodness. Oh, I know. I know. It's gigabit zero dash zero. Right? So interface gigabit. That's switch. Ah. All right. Switch port mode. What? Installation. Q. Port. Trunk. That's done. So now we gotta go into interface. Now let me set this up real quick. One. Ooh, that's almost done. All right, so now let's go into interface. Interface view. One. Good. Right. Description. And exit. Interface gigabit 0-1. Switch port. Access. Gigabit 0-2 now. Switch port mode. Access. Switch port. Access. 20. Interface. VLAN. 10. Shut. Description. Two. Skills. T. Interface. VLAN. Now. Shut. Description. VLAN. 2. Production. T. That's it. And that should get our VLAN set up there. I don't want to become famous and buy followers. They're gonna follow me because they like what I do, not because I paid them. They like what I do. Let's check this out. It's still going. Let's do a show run real quick. Check out our configuration on our switch real fast to make sure that's all set up. I think we're good though. All right, so we have our trunking. So our gigabit 0-0, that's going to our router. All right, that's going to be our trunk encapsulation. All right, that's what we're using to. Then it's going to be able to get us between all of these other subnets. So we'll be able to communicate. We'll be able to get messages from this subnet. We'll be able to get obviously messages out to this subnet, and then there's going to be some inter subnet communication as well. So PC1, the sales department should be able to talk to the sales the production department and whatnot. And then we have, so gigabit 0-1. So that's going off to this switch right here. Remember, these are unmanned switches, guys. I'm just using these just to save on resources that I'm giving this lab right now. And what do we got? So so gigabit 0-2 switchboard access. So that's in VLAN 20. And then we have our native VLAN, okay, VLAN 10, and then VLAN 20. Okay. Ooh. You know what I gotta do? I gotta put the IP helper on the two sub interfaces, right? Yeah. Yeah, I gotta put the IP helper on the two sub interfaces on the router. Yeah. All right, let's do that real quick before I forget. Interface gigabit 0 dash 1, no, 0 dash 2 dot 1. I'm going to give it the IP helper. IP helper, yep. So the IP helper destination, that will be, that's the address on our DHCP server, so that's 192.168.1, right? Yeah, 1.101. Zero, 0.101. Sure. Interface gigabit 0 dash 2.10. Interface gigabit dash 2.20. Now let's just do this real quick. I forgot to close out something real quick. That's all. There we go. Yeah. I got server config files. Server. All right. So we need to install that. So let's just copy and paste this real quick. Just installing, we're downloading the ISC DHCP server. Okay, that's done. Let's go to that file now. Files, EDC, DHCP. Oh. So we're gonna make a copy of that one. Config to DHCP. Made it. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to sudo config. Oh, you know what I forgot to download? Is there Vim on here? Vim's already on. All right, so sudo vim php config. some reason, every time I try to do stuff with Linux on this thing, every time it, as you can see, as I'm scrolling down and stuff like that, it gets all kinds of messed up on it. Okay, so sudo touch. And Get it, finally. Alright, that's good now. Let's connect these. And these fired up. That was a little bit of a challenge to get that DHCP server up, but we did it. It's up, it's running. Why we practice over and over again. Coffee's gone cold. Yeah. All right. Let's get these guys fired up. We just got one fired up. I know if I get one fired up and I don't get an address, then I have a problem. So I'm just gonna get one fired up first. Yes. Google. All right, so I have an issue. Issues not with the server. Issues with the router. Uh, that could be my access list, right? That could be my access list. Got our access list again. We might have to make a couple more access lists. Or I might have to go inside of each and every single sub interface, maybe. Yeah. me just try that real quick. Skip it. 0. 2, right? 2 dash 2.1 P9. Inside base 3 dash 2.10 inside 2.20. There we go. That's all I had to do. Okay. Let's do exit. Right. So make sure we write all these configurations now. Now we have, so we got an IP address, obviously. I'll just pull it up again. So we got an IP address from our, from this DHCP server, okay, not from the router. The router is only allocating an IP address to the DHCP server, okay? All right, and then, let's just check these guys out real quick. Cisco IP address, cool. This one. Ooh, good. And they're getting allocated in the right VLAN. Right, all right, right subnet. Apologies. Cool. And then we can ping Google 8.8.8.8. Good. We can, let's make sure DNS is working too. Yes, DNS is working. Cool. That's, I've saved the configuration on that one. I've saved the configuration on that. That's all automatically gonna save its own configuration. Everything else is working. Cool. Guys, you have any questions for me at all? Hold on one second. Any questions? Any questions? So if you guys don't believe me, let's come over here. That we got the rail internet. This is what I'll do for you guys. So I'm gonna go over here, guys. This is actually, so these little PCs on this and Cisco model now, this is why I like it. They have a little desktop on it, little GUI desktop, okay? And now that I ensured that we had DNS up, what we can do, once it loads up, it's loaded. Open up a web page. Takes a little bit. All right, www. I'll go to my website. I love going to my website. GeoPress.com, baby. So there you go. All right. There's my website, guys. Check it out if you want. It's been a while since I updated it. I gotta update it. Yeah, we can go to Google too if you guys want. Google. All right. There you go, guys. That's funny. Where's my stimulus check? CD Projekt Red, CD Punk, update. Cyberpunk, update 2077. Here you go, guys. So we have the Jitsies working connections. Okay, we're good. Close this out. Just close the tabs. Console. Whoa, I don't want to do everything. Stuff. What you do? Cool. That is, let me give this a cool name. DHCP. Yeah. And let's make sure we can ping 10 dot. Just to make sure we have inter VLAN communications 20.101. Cool. So that pings this production PC right there. Now we'll just verify that that's the actual address. And it is. Well, that's 100. What's this one? He's 101. So he's 10, 20, 101. That's 100. Back here. $20.100. There you go. Let me go to the bathroom real quick, and maybe we'll make some access lists to prevent that communication from happening. Use the bathroom and all that coffee I drink goes right through me sometimes. All right, so we did that. Let's take a look in our book to see what other configurations we can do while we got the time. Let's take a look at the configuration you got on this one too. Just wanna take a deeper look at it. It worked out pretty well. Pretty happy with how this lab setup went today. Look at our DHCP for that guy right there, remember? We have our interface loopback address. We have our gigabit 0-0 being addressed by our NAT interface right there. We have IP NAT outside, doing PAT. Okay. There's our gigabit 0-1, so that's this interface right here going to the server farm. Yep, interface to server farm. IP NAT inside. Yep. Gigabit 0-2. IP NAT. We give that the address of 10.0.0.1. Very good. What did I do this to? Very good. And all I had to do was put it on the sub interfaces. Yeah. Here's our first sub interface. So here's the actual interface, and that's addressed at 10.0.0.1. Okay. The first sub interface, which is the VLAN 1 native interface that's going to VLAN 1 on the switch. That's a very important thing, guys. So depending on what VLAN, you have to make sure that the tags match up. So if you made the management, the native VLAN, if you changed it to like VLAN 100, you gotta make sure that that first sub interface, you label it as, native VLAN 100 or whatever the case is, but it has to match up to this native VLAN on that switch there for this type of topology to work. Cool. This is our VLAN 10 sub interface on the router, and that's going to these guys over here. So pretty good. There's our VLAN 20 sub interface. OSPF, routes. Routes. I don't think we've learned anything with OSPF because, yeah, we didn't learn anything via OSPF. Just because there's no other router. If I was to set up another router, then or if I was to turn this into if I was to use this as a layer 3 switch and have it do some IP stuff, then obviously it would have learned routes from that switch, but it's not doing any layer 3 stuff. So the route tables are good, pretty stacked up. It's looking good. Everything's looking good, man. Access list good. Access there. Networks. Again, I didn't even have to set these because it automatically is they're local. They're connected locally to the router, so I didn't even have to do that, but I did it anyways. Nonetheless, pretty good. Yeah. What else can I do? What else can we do? What else do you guys want me to add to this to poly, like, what kind of more configurations do you guys want me to do on these? If you guys have any suggestions, just put it in chat. You know. Um, what else more can we? I guess. Hey, what the hell? Let's see if let's set up SSH. I guess. Let's set up SSH on the router. See if we can. I'll be so happy if we can finally. And we'll set up SSH. If that is successful, then we'll set SSH up on the switch then. We'll have to change the host name. We'll call it name router. All right. IP main name, and let's give it the domain name of sample.com. Let's say lab.example. Okay. Let's try it now. Crypto. Woo! It's the first I've ever gotten with this Cisco mod on lab. Generate RSA 4. IP SSH version 2. Go to the line BTY 15. Get with the local. Exit. We'll give it the enable. Let's do the username real quick. Username Cisco. Password Cisco. Secret Cisco. That should get us SSH. Now let's move here. SSH. No. Go to. What's that? What's that? Show. Goes 192.168.255.56. Try to log into this sub SSH Cisco. Maybe that didn't work. Exchange identification connection closed by remote host. I'll give me the same issues. Donata. SSH, you hate me, don't you? Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Again, that same. Now I'm getting the same messages as before. I can access it via Telnet. Let's see, I can access via it Telnet. I can't access it SSH. I want to connect with SSH. Telnet. Hmm. It's still having issues with SSH. What you gonna find? It appears the client is set up only to accept advanced next-gen encryption. Mm, That's what that image is running. It's running 15.24. Access to the device. I had tested the SSH really normal. I'm trying to fence this first time. It's definitely not putty, because it's doing it right on your thingy, buddy. Crazy command too. Well, SSH is still a problem. Cisco Model Lab. SSH is still a problem inside of Cisco Model. Slightly disappointing. But whatever. What are you gonna do? Lady who. Let's do a reload. Let's do a reload. All right. Well, that's yeah, kind of it, guys. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. This has been a good stream. What did we go? What time we started? 2. Yeah, we nearly went 3 hour. So again, guys, tomorrow, everybody, remember we're gonna be picking up right where we left off on on Thursday, because Friday. Remember, we did the big review from chapter 1 all the way to chapter 7. Pretty much was the review from part 1 and part 2 of the CCNA 200-301 official cert guide. And I promised you guys Monday we're gonna pick up right from the beginning of chapter 8. Chapter 8, part 3, chapter 8. Okay, and let's just give you guys a quick. All right, so to give you guys a quick overview of what we're going to be diving back into on Monday, that's chapter 8. That's implementing Ethernet virtual LANs. Chapter 9, that's span tree protocol concept, and chapter 10, which is RSTP and Ethernet channel configurations. Okay, so Monday, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be here. We're gonna get right back on it. Chapter 8. We're gonna dive into the next part here, and again, depending on where we go, because part 3 is only covering 3 chapters, which is chapter 8, chapter 9, and chapter 10. And then once we get to there, the next part, which is part 4, that's IPv4 addressing. That's 4 chapters: chapter 12, chapter 11, chapter 12, and chapter 13, and chapter 14. That touches on subnetting, classical IPv4 networks, analyzing subnets, and analyzing exiting subnets. All right. So maybe, again, depending on how far we get with everything in next week with part 3, I'll have to figure out what to do on Thursday and Friday at that point. Because again, I don't want us to end a weekend without diving into the next part of the chapter. So, yeah, I'll figure it out by that time, guys. Again, I want to thank you all for joining me today. I know I still got to figure out the schedules for the weekend streams, but that'll come. But I hope you guys enjoyed what you guys saw today. Again, this was, we booted up Cisco Model Lab 2.1.1. We've seen the couple of the fixes in it. It kind of worked pretty well. Again, SSH, yes, it's on the routers, but it's still not working. And you guys saw, I even found that it's still an actual issue with this software, the 15.6.4 software. So there's still an actual issue with SSH on the iOSBs. But that's neither here or there. At least we were able to again figure out that there's still some bugs. But this was, though, it's a good, successful stream. I'm happy. Hope you guys are happy. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow night, 5 o'clock. All right, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. We'll be here, okay? All right, guys, I love you all, and have a good, safe rest of your day. All right, guys, thank you again.